As a teenager, I couldn't understand why, when a girl fell, got hurt, or was simply upset, she could cry and receive sympathy. But if a boy cried in exactly the same situation, he would be told, "You're a man, endure it." Only when I grew up did I learn about the term double standards, when one person is allowed to do something, but another person is not. Double standards also exist in male-female relationships, which can sometimes irritate us greatly. I want to clarify, the purpose of this article is not to incite hatred between the sexes by talking about how bad women are and how they mistreat and oppress us, poor men. I just want to discuss situations where double standards are used by a woman as a manipulation tool. And you can't build healthy relationships on manipulation. So today, I will talk about how to counteract this. Moreover, the double standards I'll discuss are so prevalent that most men don't even realize they're being manipulated, taking it as the norm. First, double standard. It directly relates to relationships. If a man uses a woman only for sex or dates her for a long time but doesn't marry her, people say he's not serious and not ready to take responsibility for the relationship. On the other hand, if a woman keeps a man in the friend zone for a long time, unable to decide whether she wants to be with him or not, hesitating before accepting his marriage proposal, it's considered that she is serious and scrutinizing her partner. In particular, she may delay making a decision because, in her opinion, the man doesn't give her enough flowers, gifts, or financial support. And such a man is called stingy by the opposite sex. Meanwhile, a woman in the early stages of a relationship might not show any care for her suitor at all. Many people accept such stereotypes as the norm. However, both men and women can be non-serious about their partner at the beginning of a relationship. But if a man is non-serious about a woman, he usually uses her only for sex. Whereas a woman might use her admirer for other purposes not related to sex. These could be substitute relationships, or she might use the man as a sponsor, or simply communicate with him out of boredom without any intimacy. Second, double standard. It's quite amusing, and I heard about it from a stand-up comedian. Anal sex is painful for a woman, so she's not ready to engage in it. But so-called beauty injections, anti-cellulite massages leaving big bruises, and various plastic procedures are also painful, yet women agree to them. And not just agree, but also pay a lot of money for them. This seemingly strange behavior is easy to explain. Beauty requires sacrifices. Therefore, a woman has motivation to endure painful procedures. Her profit is obvious: younger, tighter skin, and attractive appearance. But if an external object ends up in a woman's but during sex, she gets no profit from it. Hence, she refuses to engage in it. My opinion on this matter: don't do in bed what causes pain to one of you. Because in such a case, intimacy for the woman would resemble torture. And what she does with her body, let her decide. Just make sure it doesn't violate your principles. For example, if a woman decides to get a tattoo, but it's unacceptable for you, just say, "I'm not forbidding you anything, but I'm not ready to be with a woman who has tattoos on her body." Third, double standard. If a man earns little, doesn't have his own apartment or car, it's considered he hasn't established himself as a person. He's not ready to take responsibility for his family, and he can only have a relationship with his right hand. If a woman earns little or doesn't work at all, justifying it with the pompous phrase, "I'm looking for the thing I want to do." If she doesn't have an apartment or a car, it's not condemned. It's considered the norm. And, moreover, no one will say that such a woman isn't ready for a relationship. It turns out that for a woman to be ready for a relationship, all she needs is the desire. Whereas a man is also expected to work hard on himself and earn at least a minimal capital. How I recommend approaching this? Just develop yourself without adjusting to anyone. Set goals and achieve them, not allowing yourself to settle in the comfort zone. And if, despite this, the girl continues to reproach you for something, she's not your girl. You don't need to explain anything to her. Most likely, she just watched too many videos on social networks where bloggers talk about their sweet life. Or she wants to be like her friends, whom sugar daddies take abroad and give expensive gifts. Obviously, she's living in the clouds. And it's not about your earnings, but her sky-high demands. Yes, the modern world is structured in such a way that financial support for the family largely falls on the man. It's usually the woman who stays home on maternity leave with a young child, and she physically can't work at that moment. Therefore, if you work more and earn more, it's normal. But always remember that if you provide for your family, it shouldn't be a one-sided game, and the woman should take care of you in return, not just demand without giving anything back. Fourth, double standard. If you hit a woman, you're an abuser. If a woman raises her hand to you and even injures you, it's not condemned. The justification is very simple. Women are the weaker sex. It's believed that the weak cannot harm the strong. Although this is not true. The use of force, whether by a man or a woman, is unacceptable. And if a woman raises her hand to her man, it's a result of her spoilt behavior, which should not be ignored. Personally, I would say the following phrase in such a case. If my woman tries to raise her hand to me, it means she doesn't value me and my health. In case of a repeat of such a situation, I'll conclude that we're not on the same path anymore. Just as with scandals. If you insult a woman, you're a scoundrel. But if a woman says something hurtful to you, it can be justified. After all, she's a girl, she called you names on emotion, without thinking. And it's just PMS, so it's very hard for her, and she needs support. But in my opinion, if it's hard for you, say it. Say that you need support, and you want to be pitted. But don't take your nerves out on other people. Moreover, in such situations, some women still manage to portray the man as guilty. How do they do it? Such a person, being in a bad mood, provokes the man, pushes him. He endures for a long time, but then loses his temper and says something hurtful. The woman needs this. She throws a tantrum, saying that he insulted her. As a result, the man is forced to justify himself. Therefore, when you find yourself in such a situation, I recommend you remember a simple rule. If you get involved in a scandal with a woman, you'll lose in any case. Logic will never defeat emotions. Wait until she calms down and then discuss the issue. And if you still snapped, don't justify yourself. Continue to stand your ground and emphasize that she provoked you. And if your girlfriend or wife constantly starts fights and scandals for no reason, it means she's an emotionally immature person who can't control her emotions. And the phrase, "I'm just a girl," is nothing more than a wonderful excuse for such inappropriate behavior. I've talked more about how to behave during arguments with your girlfriend or wife in the video titled, "How to Make Your Girlfriend Look Guilty with Just One Phrase." Be sure to watch this video if you haven't seen it yet. Friends, as you've realized, double standards are nothing more than manipulations that serve as a subject of discord in many couples. And I recommend remembering just two things. First, don't get involved with manipulators. Second, if a man and a woman are emotionally mature individuals ready to create healthy relationships, there won't even be discussions about double standards. Except maybe the woman might say that anal sex is painful for her. I hope this article was useful to you. If so, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and move on to reading other articles on my channel. See you.